It was a brisk October morning, and I was working my shift at the clearance warehouse, waiting eagerly for the next chapter of what was so far an amazing Jujutsu Kaisen arc, the Shibuya arc. Then, the clock struck 12, so I just walk around, pretend I'm doing my job, and read Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 126. Page after page, Yuji is just getting his ass beat, Nobara's dead, everything's looking bad. But then, the GOAT has arrived. Aototo is here in Shibuya, and he's ready to boogie. He drops his badass, awe-inspiring speech, and the chapter ends. And it was from this moment onward that I knew this arc had the potential to create my favorite season of anime of all time. The anime had already begun airing at this point, and although it was amazing, I always felt like it could be better. Fast forward a few years, and it's here.
This one, no bueno. This one, I'm confident.
Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, the single season of anime I had been most anticipating, covering what I believed were the two best arcs in one of my favorite series. It was destined for greatness, and by God, did it deliver. The first arc of the season, Hidden Inventory, or more commonly known as the Gojo Past arc, was nothing short of perfect. Gojo and Toji are two of my favorite characters, and this arc was, in my opinion, them at their best. Countless highlight moments, beautiful vibrant animation, amazing direction, and fights that make you feel every single action. Honestly, it'd be easier for me to list the things that weren't perfect in this arc, so let's just do that instead. The Honored One scene wasn't as good as it was in the manga, and that's literally about it. Everything else was pretty much perfect, and that really isn't even a complaint. That's more so a nitpick, because it was still good in the anime, but I mean, come on, that moment in the manga was so cool. Everything the manga could have done better was done better. Everything the manga did well was cranked up to 11, especially episode 27. Gojo and Toji's first fight was beautiful. I remember looking at these panels for like 5 minutes straight, just imagining how cool they'd look animated. And let me tell you, as I said before, my expectations were greatly exceeded. The inverted spear of heaven breaking through infinity and the gruesomeness of the slashes, everything about this fight was just perfect. Then, arguably the best part of the season for me, Riko Amanai's death. The anime's portrayal of Riko was wonderful. They truly made me feel for her, even when I knew her fate. Speaking of her fate, the way they directed the entire thing was just amazing. Playing the outro song when she was talking to Geto was genuinely one of the best direction decisions of the entire season, if not the best. The gunshot sound effect, the immediate pause of the music, Riko's head falling to the side revealing Geto's face slowly changing from a happy, joyous smile to a sad, crazed grimace. Holy guacamole. This was so much better than I ever could have imagined. I know I've said that a lot already, but this time makes every other time I said it feel like hyperbole. Finally, the conversation between Toji and Geto telling him to die were the perfect way to conclude the episode. It was genuinely one of my favorite episodes of any anime ever, and definitely my favorite episode of the season. Every episode of this arc was a banger. No downtime. They were firing on all cylinders straight from episode 1. One thing I especially want to say is that the final episode of the arc, with Geto contemplating the meaning of Jujutsu and going through an identity crisis, walks the line of unique animation so well. When I was writing up the script for my scrapped Chainsaw Man review that I just never did, I spent a lot of time talking about how it tries to be unique in its animation style, sort of like Devilman Crybaby, while simultaneously trying to keep the classic shonen Sakuga. And it just ends up looking bizarre, lacking the absurdity of Devilman Crybaby and the cleanliness of standard shonen. Not to say that the animation was always bad, it was good, but it just had a strangeness to it that prevented it from being everything it could be. It's hard to describe, and I thought I was really going crazy. I was like, am I really making sense here? That was until I realized Jujutsu Kaisen nailed exactly what I was thinking. The episode where I think it shined most was the Geto contemplation episode. The scenes of him staring blankly, hunched over in the shower, his tired eyes, his conversation with Yuki, the cuts between the report of him burning down the village and him actually burning down the village, him crushing that random guy. Everything about these scenes felt non-standard, but it wasn't extreme like Devilman Crybaby. It was subtle, and that's no hate to Devilman Crybaby. I love its animation, but a show like Jujutsu Kaisen can't really do that, so they have to walk a fine line, making it both generally appealing and uniquely appealing. Anyways, then you got the classic speech.
君は五条悟だから最強なのか、最強だから五条悟なのか。
And now we're on to the big bad Shibuya arc, kinda. First, we gotta watch good old Mechamaru fight Mahito and who we presume to be Geto.
Cool, bro. You want to act like that, yeah? You want to try and be a big man? Nice one, mate. What are you going to do if I come around and just grab your shit and start fucking jerking? Huh? Not a lot. You're going to fucking explode, that's what.
I hated this fight in the manga. It was clear from the moment Mechamaru got stuck in the curtain that he wasn't making it out alive, because obviously he's not beating either one of the main villains. It just felt like filler to me. But boy, oh boy, did the anime change that. What I thought was going to be the downfall of the season ended up being one of the most visually stunning fights in the entire show. The Gurren Lagann style animation was an amazing choice, and one that I genuinely never expected. It made it actually enjoyable, and although I still didn't care about Mechamaru, it turned an episode I thought I'd skip on every rewatch into something that'll always have my eyes glued to the screen. Anyways, enough of the riffraff. It's time for the main event, the Shibuya Incident. This arc has basically been perfect. The last episode hasn't come out, but there's honestly nothing they could do to make it less than a 10 out of 10. Gojo's arrival and fight against the disaster curses was amazing. His cockiness, him destroying Hanami, Jogo's fear, the 0.2 second domain, the execution of the cursed spirits, and bringing up Devilman Crybaby again, the way that during the execution he was running like one of their characters, it was all so great. It was the perfect send-off before he gets sealed for the next 1,000 years. The next couple episodes, although they felt pointless in the manga, were still amazing. The battle against the reversal guy wasn't anything to call home about, but what do you expect? It's basically a filler fight. It being good at all was honestly quite the feat. Toji's reincarnation though, now that was something I would FaceTime my mom for. Snatching Ino's shiesty, the flicker step towards the granny, they made his revival feel like a truly grand event. And then, in that same episode, we got Nanami beating the shit out of that luck guy whose name I forget. Then it really kicked off, and we got what was probably the fight of the year. Choso versus Yuji. The POV switches, the amazing choreography, the blood manipulation, and the beautiful red and blue lighting mixing with the sprinklers in the bathroom. Everything about this fight was astonishing. This fight was pure art. I didn't even particularly care for this fight in the manga that much, because I didn't care about Yuji or Choso, and I thought blood manipulation was a boring curse technique. But that has changed. Blood manipulation is now the best curse technique in the verse. Anyways, this is getting kind of long now, so I'm only gonna briefly talk about the next few moments, starting with the Dagon fight. It was great. I love Nobito's voice actor, and all the projection sorcery was super cool. Toji's entrance was just as great as I expected, and the Jogo Blitz was conveyed perfectly as well. Moving on, episode 40 is easily my second favorite episode of this season, and it single-handedly changed Jogo from a character who I was indifferent towards to one of my favorite characters, because that fight was just so cool. It was done so well, and then the added scenes to the Toji vs Megumi fight just made that one even better. You could truly feel the passion for the series throughout everything. Unfortunately, that passion was hindered in the next episode, and Mappa's greedy suits and ties didn't let the Mahoraga fight see its full potential due to their fucked up workload, but this fight was still amazing, and seems to be what most people consider the magnum opus of the season. Unfortunately, it had to be followed up by that horrendous choice to play the intro song while Yuji's spazzing out and shit, which I just hated. Some people said they liked it. I thought it was dog shit. This isn't even a nitpick. That shit just fully sucked ass to me. That doesn't matter anymore, because the next episode, Nanami's tweaking, killing curses while half burnt, missing an eye, and dreaming of Malaysia. This shit almost brought a tear to my eye. I think writing emotionally impactful deaths is a big weakness of Gage's, but the animators made up for that with the music, the voice acting, the flashing between the Malaysia hallucination and real life. Everything made this death 10 times more impactful. Unfortunately, they couldn't make me feel the same about Nobara's death. Honestly, I thought that episode was the weakest of the season, and the only one that I'm not really bothered to rewatch. But it's alright, because the next episode is the one. The moment I've been waiting for it since that October clearance warehouse shift. The glorious arrival of the one, the only, Aototo. What an entrance he had. Mahito beating the shit out of Yuji, about to kill him, then followed by his sick ass music and that beautiful speech. I almost combusted on the spot watching it. It was so great. This may have been one of my single favorite moments of the entire series, if not my favorite moment. Then the black flashes that followed, Toto's schizophrenic ramblings going what seemed to be plus ultra, and the moment where he says that amazing quote, "The act of applause is an acclamation of the soul." What a moment. I mean, seriously, I was watching that and I was just like, oh my god, I can't take it anymore. He's too cool. This was it. This season had reached my list of perfect seasons. 20 episodes straight of mind-boggling beauty, but they still had more left in them. The rabbit hunt scene, amazing. The brain man showing up, amazing. The battle against him, amazing. Urame's ice formations, amazing. Yuki's entrance, amazing. Now, here we are, one episode away from the season closing out, and I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, this has been one of the greatest seasons of anime I have ever watched. Besides the minor things I mentioned before, and the fact I can no longer hear specials without wanting to blow my nuts off, everything about this season was perfect. And I mean that. All the years of me imagining these arcs animated, and not once could I have envisioned such a beautiful adaptation. The music, the pacing, the voice acting, the direction, and that wonderfully eclectic animation style. Everything about it was great. It's not even really over yet, and I've got it listed as my 4th favorite season of all time, only behind Megalobox Nomad, My Hero Season 2, and Mob Psycho Season 3, which are all seasons that I have immense praise for. And honestly, who knows? With time and the power of nostalgia, it could rise higher. An amazing 10 out of 10 season, although it came at the cost of a multitude of human rights violations, and I do kind of hope that, for the sake of animators, we never see anything like it again, unless they actually have a decent schedule. Anyways, I'll stop sucking it off now. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 was flawless. Go watch it if you haven't, and if you have watched it, go watch it again. I'll see y'all in the next one. Adeuces.